I want to begin with a Fox News alert tonight. There has been a hitch in the highly anticipated count in the Virginia governor's race. Fairfax County, which is the biggest and most Democratic county in the state of Virginia, will not be supplying its vote results on time. We were supposed to have early vote shortly after 7 o'clock Eastern, but an hour ago, a Fairfax County official announced that there is a delay. They say they need to rescan the ballots. They're going to release a partial count, quote, of their early vote in person sometime this evening. Bill Hemmer will be tracking that for us. We're also going to talk to Britt Hume, trying to figure out how many votes they need, apparently. Just kidding. Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Exactly 1 year from today is the congressional midterm elections. Tonight, two governor's races in solidly Democratic states on the eastern seaboard may give us a preview of what could be a tsunami to come. In New Jersey, where polls have just closed, finance goon Phil Murphy, who appears to have declared himself king of the long-suffering Goomba Republic, faces a surprisingly sharp challenge from a Republican called Jack Ciattarelli. It seems impossible that Murphy could actually lose in a state where entire cemeteries vote. There are more than 1 million Democrats registered in New Jersey than are Republicans. But despite those numbers, he may come close, and that would be a deeply ominous sign for the party of Joe Biden. We'll know the outcome of that race in just a few moments, and of course we'll bring it to you immediately. And then in the Commonwealth of Virginia, previously mentioned, that is the most consequential election of the year. Terry McAuliffe was once the governor of the state. He ran and won 8 years ago as a moderate, a pro-business Democrat, a deal maker who didn't have time for ideology, and he won big. And now he's back after 4 years. McAuliffe wants to run Virginia again, but this time he is a new man. Like so many in his social class, Terry McAuliffe has gone woke. He's an apostle for Bidenism, for equity, diversity, and the race-based politics of everything. A few weeks ago, McAuliffe announced that parents no longer have the authority over their own children. Public schools in Virginia are going to force-feed your kids racist propaganda, and there is nothing you can do about it. If you complain, you're a white supremacist. McAuliffe said that repeatedly on television, and he meant it. And then to underscore the point, Terry McAuliffe appeared at his final rally last night with his only actual constituent. That would be the head of the country's most radical teachers union, Randi Weingarten, the person who bankrolls the Democratic Party. Like Terry McAuliffe, Randi Weingarten isn't from Virginia. Like Terry McAuliffe, she's never had children in public schools. And so in that way, it was a perfect match. Here's part of what she said.
We know what happened when Terry McAuliffe was governor in this state. We know how things turned around in terms of the economy. We know how things turned around in terms of people being seen and respected. We know all of a sudden that people were heard, parents were heard, teachers were heard.
She's a lot of fun. Would you put her at the podium if she wasn't paying you? No, of course not. Nobody would. But did you listen to what she said? She said that until Terry McAuliffe was the governor 8 years ago, certain people in Virginia were not, quote, seen and respected. In other words, the state was a racist hellhole. And then, thank heaven, Terry McAuliffe, Bill Clinton's sketchy, nearly indicted hatchet man from upstate New York, arrived and liberated the place. Terry McAuliffe is Virginia's Abe Lincoln. That's what they're telling you. It's hilarious. Here's Virginia's most famous political expert, a guy who works at a local college, explaining that only bigots oppose Abe Lincoln.
The operative word is not critical, and it's not theory. It's race. What a shock, huh? Race. That is what matters, and that's why it sticks. There's a lot of, we can call it white backlash, white resistance, whatever you want to call it. It has to do with race.
White backlash, white resistance, white, meaning evil, cruel, and bigoted. That's the case all of them, including their little experts, are making for Terry McAuliffe. They're telling you the other guy's a racist. Now, they're saying that because during election season, that usually works for Democrats. But what's interesting is that in this case, it is not working. Glenn Youngkin is the Republican candidate in this race. He is not a racist. He is a Christian. He is a decent, uncommonly gentle man. Too gentle for politics, in fact, many assumed. And yet, over the past few weeks, Glenn Youngkin has made a powerful and moving case for the America that most people still want. A colorblind meritocracy where all of us are judged for who we are as people, as individuals under God, and not for how we look as a member of some group. That vision could get Glenn Youngkin elected governor. We expected to find out tonight, and now these hiccups with the count in Fairfax County. There's a lot to assess tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.